looks like, but we should also remember that all of us on this platform have been banned from platforms up and down the country by the movement so far, and that's because we are anti-Zionists. I took my case when I was sacked. I didn't nearly lose my job, I did lose my job. I took my case to an employment tribunal, and the employment tribunal declared that I had been wrongfully dismissed, and the reason I had been dismissed was because I had anti-Zionist views, and I had the temerity to express those anti-Zionist views. And the court also determined that anti-Zionist views were worthy of respect in a democratic society. They are anti-racist views. And now the university is going to appeal that decision. They'll go to court again in November, and I firmly expect that they will lose again in November, and that we will establish the principle that anti-Zionist views are protected under law as a firm principle of British law.
Clip the mic on.
So what I wanted to say today really is that, look, we're at a bit of a turning point with the question of Palestine, of how we respond to the genocide, how we respond to Zionism. Today, up and down the country, in Manchester, in London, in other places, some 70 or 80 people have been arrested for saying that they support Palestine action. Two weeks ago, it was perfectly possible to say, I support Palestine action. Now, it's not possible to say, I support Palestine action. And the difficulty, of course, is that the law, people don't understand the law and the judgment that was made against Palestine action and the appeal that they made in the court the other week. So it's not illegal to support direct action against Israeli arms firms in this country. It's not illegal to say they should be smashed up and they should be closed down. And they should. It's not illegal to say I support an organisation called X to smash up these Israeli arms firms. It's not illegal. It's only illegal if you say that you support Palestine action. So don't say you support Palestine action unless you want to get arrested and to join the hundreds of others who have already been arrested and who will surely make this law unworkable. But it's a turning point as well because we move towards the launching of a separate anti-Zionist movement in this country. George has already been on X, on Twitter, to say that he wants to launch a campaign for a one-state solution to the question of Palestine. And that is the only solution. A one-state solution is the only solution to the question of Palestine. A two-state solution is not a solution. A two-state solution is the continuation of the Jewish state, the genocidal Jewish state in the Levant. There can be no peace. There can be no end to the genocide without the collapsing and the eradication of the Zionist entity in occupied Palestine. There must be one state, and it must be a Palestinian state. And so that's why it's important for us to think about how we join together to build an anti-Zionist movement, which is not popularised by the mistaken and failed two-state solution. We have to build a movement which is capable not just of challenging the Zionist entity in occupied Palestine, also challenging the British government and its complicity, but also, let's remember, of challenging the Zionist movement in this country. There are some 3,000 Zionist organisations in the UK. There are Zionist organisations in every single town and city in this land. There are Zionist organisations in this city. You know this. These are organisations which on a daily basis are providing support to the genocide. They radicalise young Jews to believe they have a birthright in Palestine. There is no such right. They also send money directly to the Israeli occupation forces, and they send money as supporters to the settlements in the West Bank, and indeed in what's called Israel 48. But all of these organisations must be shut down. So people say to me, well, what can we do? We demonstrated, we went on the streets and nothing stopped. I say, well, you've got to demonstrate, you've got to be on the streets, we've got to continue to do that, but we can also escalate. We have to escalate by involving ourselves in smashing up the arms firms, yes, by stopping the British government and challenging the Labour government, but we also need to be directly targeting Zionist organisations wherever they are. Letters, campaigns, demonstrations outside the offices of these organisations. They're everywhere. We can look them up, find them, and close these organisations down. And so the most important thing I think to say is that it's not just a question of ending the occupation in Palestine. It's not just a question of stopping the British government's complicity with the genocide. It's also a question of shutting down the entire Zionist movement all over the world. Thank you.
Brothers and sisters, give it up for David Miller. David Miller, as you know, was accused of anti-Semitism and fought his case and won. There are many people around the country, around the world, standing up for the Palestinians. The likes of Nika, give it up for Nika. Give it up for Bob Whelan. And give it up for the UN Special Rapporteur, Francesca Albanese. Give it up for Yemen. Give it up for Lebanon. Give it up for Iran. And give it up for the activists standing up here in the United Kingdom. We have specifically chosen this location. We have specifically chosen this location because those of you who are local know that the BBC have their studios behind us. The British Broadcasting Corporation, the national entity that it is, the British corporation is actually complicit in genocide. BBC, pick a side, justice or genocide. BBC, pick a side. 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 More than 200 journalists have lost their lives in Gaza. Not forgetting our journalists, we remember our journalists. Surely you must protect your own profession, those who are in your field. And certainly we don't have from the British Broadcasting Corporation. Shame, shame. BBC, 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 your hands are red, over 100,000 dead. BBC, your hands are red. BBC, your hands are red. BBC, your hands are red. BBC, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. BBC, you can't hide. BBC, you can't hide. BBC, you can't hide. BBC, you can't hide. I would urge every single one of you not to pay your TV license and don't watch this filth. They have tried to silence Gary Lineker, who's been a humanitarian, a big voice, who sadly had to leave his job, and he's a strong voice, and we must support the people like Gary Lineker. We mustn't forget the medic documentary that was meant to be shown on the BBC, that was pulled, unfortunately taken up by Channel 4. That was explicit, that was concise. We know that there was interference. Yvette Cooper, shame, shame. Yvette Cooper, shame, shame. Yvette Cooper, shame, shame. Yvette Cooper, shame, shame. Yvette Cooper. Shame, shame. Also for the action that they have taken against Palestine action. It is not activists who spray paint. They don't use violence against individuals. They are using against the tools of the genocide. I have another chance for you. Are you ready for this one? Are you ready for this one? If you know, and you will get it. Genocide in Palestine, time to take action. So I will say genocide in Palestine, you will say time to take action. Genocide in Palestine, 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 time to take action. It is about direct action. This is the only way these people listen. Many governments, many regimes, many countries, many politicians, all explicit. and I'm sure the other speakers will touch on what we've said. So right, I'm going to pass you over to Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! Now when I say down, down, you say down, down, the idea. Down, down! The idea! 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 MashaAllah. Make some noise for Lee Evans, who went from Moscow to Gaza. Lee, MashaAllah.
Inshallah. Thank you. And Salam Alaikum. This one? Okay. Oh, them both. Wow, I'm like a proper rock star.
We do it in pairs.
Okay. Salam Alaikum. And Sat Shri Akal. And Shalom. Thank you for being here. I never intended being famous. And now that I'm a terrorist as well, I would like to put a caveat, how do you say it, into my speech. So my caveat is, I am not here to say I support Palestine action, because that's illegal. So I'm definitely not going to say I support Palestine action. It's not why I'm here. So you're all very, very beautiful. You are all humanity. Regardless of creed, colour, religion, sexuality, nationality, we are all just humanity, and you've all got beauty in your hearts, and you've all got empathy in your hearts, and you give the greatest gift that we can give to the people of Palestine, and you give hope. And hope is something that they've been lacking for 78 years, because it's not true what this building behind you says. It didn't start on October the 7th. It's been going on for 78 years. So, you're all humanity, and we are all one, regardless of anything.
Give it up! Come on, guys!
Oh, yep. Time for cheering, and shouting things like Free Palestine! Yeah, Free Palestine! It should be free. It really should be free. If it wasn't for the Americans, 27 times they've used their right to veto in the UN to stop Palestine being part of the United Nations. They have no rationale other than their greed and the fact that they're owned by Zionists. Israel couldn't do what it does if it wasn't for the help of Britain and the other Western countries, because again, they're all owned by Zionists. Yvette Cooper took £250,000, I believe it was, from the Zionist lobby. Keir Starmer took even more. Shame. Shame on them. Absolutely. And the Filter 18. I got to put a shout out for the Filter 18. Thank you very much. They are political prisoners in Britain. When we talk about political prisoners in Britain likes to point the finger at other countries, but there's plenty of political prisoners here. The Filter 18 are one. Myself, I've been accused as a terrorist. Sue, the 83-year-old vicar who's retired, was arrested with me on Saturday, and her only crime was holding up a placard with some words on it. My crime was I held up a white rose and I talked. I talked at Westminster, which is supposed to be the home of democracy in Britain. Shame. Shame on you. I was there, a Zionist, absolutely, Zionist. I was there on behalf of Defend Our Juries, because our legal system is under attack in this country. They're trying to take away the right for certain groups to use juries, and they're trying to take away the right, and they have taken the right away from the Filter 18 to use certain words as justification for their actions. And all of us have been labelled terrorism. Whilst it's quite refreshing to have white British terrorists, that's a very refreshing thing, I can guarantee you we are not terrorists. The Filter 18, they went into an Elbit Aztec factory and they broke drones which mimic babies crying. And when people, compassionate people like ourselves, go out to see why the babies are crying, they shoot them. Shame. That is terrorism. That is pure terrorism, which is being conducted by Britain, America, and Israel, the Zionist entity personified. So why do we shout death, death? Why do we shout this? If you listen to the building behind us, and if you listen to the Zionist right-wing media of Britain, they have a moral high ground. So why does a terrorist organization, which came to the meeting of 3 terrorist organizations that came together and originally killed a lot of British soldiers, have the right to a moral high ground? Is it that they are complicit and are enabling the apartheid fascism that is happening in Palestine? Does this give you the moral high ground? No, it shouldn't give you the moral high ground. Is it because they shoot innocent people? No, that shouldn't give you the moral high ground. Is it because they shoot proud fathers when they're going to get bread for their children? No, that doesn't give you the moral high ground. Is it because they bomb teenage girls in their beds? No, that shouldn't give you the moral high ground. Is it because they starve 1.5 million people in Gaza? Half of those people are children, half of those children are under the age of 10. Does that give you the moral high ground? Is it because they have just turned the West Bank with 3.25 million people in it, half of those people children, half of those children under 10, as they've turned that into now the biggest concentration camp the world has ever seen? Does that give you the moral high ground? So why do they have the moral high ground? Because they're supported by the BBC, and they were supported by the British government, they're supported by the American government, and they are the violent arm of the right-wing fascist Nazi organization that is Israel. Shame. Shame. They burn children in their beds, they use starvation as a weapon. This is terrorism. So let's have a look at some of the lies that are told. There is a war in Palestine. There isn't. There is one side attacking an innocent people, a peaceful people, a hospitable people, people who have the true devotion of Islam in their hearts. Even though these people know that my country is complicit, and even though most of them didn't know I was there as a nurse, they still welcomed me into their hearts. They welcomed me into their homes. They shared their food with me. They invited me home for iftar when I am there in Ramadan. Let's have a look at some other lies they tell. Anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism, what does it mean? Ooh, there's a big word. Anti-Semitism actually means that you are against the Semite-speaking Arabic tribes of the Arabic nations. So the biggest anti-Semite nation and force on this planet at the moment is Israel. Because they are trying to wipe out an entire Semitic people. Are there any other lies they tell? We can't use the word Holocaust. It's a terrible word, it really is. But it literally means burnt offering to a god. And who is making burnt offerings to their god greed and their god money at the moment? It's Israel. So shame. Shame on this building behind me. Shame on the organisation called the British Broadcasting Company when they do not represent the people of Britain. They are a bully, yeah? What is happening in Palestine at the moment is going to scar humanity. It is the closest I have ever seen to what I imagined Nazi Germany to look like. There's checkpoints everywhere. If you haven't got the right papers for the checkpoint, you're not going through. At these checkpoints, they will pull Muslim families and anybody out of their vehicles. They will strip proud fathers and mothers naked at the side of the road at gunpoint. Shame. Shame on them. This will scar humanity worse than Nazi Germany, because humanity is watching. And humanity is gathered today, and humanity stood up for the impassioned appeal I gave to the riot police in the Egyptian desert. 175 million people have now seen that and liked it and stood up. This is humanity. The rest of humanity's got its head in the sand. When you've got your head in the sand, your behind is sticking up in the air. So what can we do? Everything you're doing. Everything you're doing is beautiful and it brings hope to the people of Palestine. But we can all do more. We can all be more active. We can all sign more petitions. We can shut down our politicians if they're complicit. We can look at the ISM. If you don't know who the ISM are, they're the International Solidarity Movement, and they've been working hard in Palestine for decades. They're even mentioned in the Yasser Arafat Museum in the beautiful city of Ramallah. So the resilience of the people of Palestine and the resilience of the people of Gaza have shone a light on what is happening in Palestine. Now it's up to us, the people of humanity, to pick up the torch of that light and carry it forwards. I thank you all for being here. You're all beautiful. You are all humanity.
Thank you so much to Lee Evans, all the way from Wales. Brothers and sisters, give it up for Lee Evans. Lee Evans, alongside the 4,000 activists that went around the world from 80 countries into Egypt. Egypt is also complicit in this genocide, and they will face the wrath, because we know we are on the right side of history. I just want to take an opportunity to say special homage to the Filton 18, who have taken action against Elbit Systems, the Israeli arms manufacturer. Brothers and sisters, please show your respect for the Filton 18, who are in prison, who have been silenced. The British authorities are stopping from us speaking. They are trying to silence us. But Filton 18 are innocent, alongside many, many activists, and we pray that they are vindicated and they are free, and rightfully they belong amongst us. We mustn't forget Kashmir. As you can see, I'm wearing a Kashmir flag. So from Kashmir to Palestine, occupation is a crime, and we mustn't forget Srebrenica, 30 years that we are marking today. This week we are marking Srebrenica, where more than 8,000 Muslim boys and men lost their lives, and we mustn't forget Bosnia, Srebrenica. So please give it up for Srebrenica as well. We remember them. It was the greatest genocide in history, but now it's being live streamed in front of our eyes. Those who are silent, they are also complicit. You must pick a side. If you are silent, then you are also part of the problem. Without further ado, we have got some more speakers, and I'm sure you're waiting for some of your favorites. They are behind us and waiting to speak. I would like to invite our next local speaker, who's very renowned for his religious work and also his activism on Palestine, that has spoken very, very heavily, and he has a channel that you can actually go on, and he speaks about many topics. Brothers and sisters, please give it up for the respected Sheikh Asrar Rashid, Birmingham born and bred.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I wanted to say that if Palestinians did not have weapons, their statement today would be what happened to the Bosnians, that they would be slaughtered. This is why we as Muslims, we take up armed struggle, and we are not ashamed of it. We have jihad in our Quran, and jihad is standing up against oppression. And what the Palestinian people are doing today is armed struggle, is to stand up against the bankers' state, which is known as Israel. Today when people vote, they think they are voting for foreign policy, but let me tell you something, Keir Starmer's foreign policy is written out for him by those who finance him and by the bankers and the corporations. Do not think elections will ever affect foreign policy. He may have his budgets, he has his budgets and the Conservatives and the Labour Party, they only differ on how they will spend the budget. But their foreign policy is written out by think tanks. Those think tanks are controlled by corporations. Those corporations are controlled by the chairmen of those corporations. Those chairmen of those corporations will be linked to Mr. Donald Trump and Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, who are war criminals. And when all of this interlocking system, whether it's the UAE, which is the Arab capitalist state of the world today, which is complicit in the genocide, whether it's any of the other Arab states which are complicit in the genocide, they are all a part of the interlocking capitalist system which is writing out the policy which me and you think that when we vote for any party today, that party, whether it's the Labour Party or the Conservative Party, have an independent foreign policy. Foreign policy does not change. It didn't change from Mr. Anthony Blair, who changed his name to Tony to seem more common. It didn't change from the time of Tony Blair when 1 million people marched, and it has not changed today. This is why the Palestinians are justified in their armed resistance, in taking up their weapons. They have every right to make weapons. They have every right to utilize those weapons. The Palestinian people today are fighting the bankers' state, the capitalist state, which is defended by corporate capitalism because it is the capitalist last colonial settler state which has been made, like Australia, like New Zealand, like Canada, like the United States of America. It's one of those states which has been set up, but there is a difference between the Palestinian and the Aborigine. The Aborigines were a great people. The Native Americans were a great people. But the Palestinians are a great people. But there is the concept of jihad, which they have attempted to malign from 9/11, when Al-Qaeda, which was formulated by the West in the first place to malign the concept of jihad in order to undermine real jihad. You have terrorist organizations made by the deep state to malign real jihad when real jihad is carried out. When real jihad is carried out, people will malign the real jihad because they will equate those real jihad groups with terrorist groups. And this is today why when we walk through the Birmingham city centre, you'll notice the difference between Stratford Road, where we live, and the people that were in the belly of the beast, in the imperial cities of the belly of the beast. You will notice them wearing their trades, clothing, and all of this capitalism, but you will notice the indifference on the faces. There is an indifference on the faces of people because they are so engrossed in wearing Calvin Klein as a billboard. Which idiot wears the names of a man who's earning millions and you wear his name as a billboard? This is the level of people's intellects today. Additionally, you have the media. So we are standing in front of the British bullshit corporation, and as we stand outside, we know that people are paying the TV license. Which democracy has people paying to watch television? You tell me, is that the sign of oligarchy coming in the form of democracy, or is it where you have taxation to pay television? They said to me that Taliban are bad. They are Taliban because they ban the television. But you tell me, what's the difference between the Taliban banning television and the British government charging people to watch television? There's a tax to pay television. Go and tell people across the world that in our country we have to pay money to watch television. So this media blockout that we have, we know about it. When this Birmingham City Council, it went bust, and Keir Starmer and his government, they have money to spend abroad for war. They have money to send RAF jets across to defend the Zionist entity, yet they do not have money for the homeless in Birmingham and London. They do not have money to clean up our streets. And there are people who work in the council who do not even realize these basic facts. We are taxed so much today in this country that our tax is utilized for war. We have the black budget, which is given to the MI5 and the MI6. I'm sure some of them are present. Welcome to them as well. And the black budget is then utilized on those RAF jets, and they have no shame in arresting Sue, who is an 83-year-old woman who was arrested for being a part of Palestine Action. Have some shame on yourself before you arrest Sue, an 83-year-old woman. Go and arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. Go to the Israeli embassy and arrest all the staff in the Israeli embassy, people who have no shame. Instead of arresting old women and old men, go and arrest the people in the Israeli embassy. But you will not, because they control your capital, they control your finance, they write down your policies for you. These think tanks that write down all your policies are those think tanks which you work for, and that is the reality that we are facing. And I will say that we must continue what we are doing, keep doing what we are doing, raise awareness. Do not underestimate protests. Do not underestimate every action you do, because if it were not having an effect, then the Palestinian resistance would not call upon the people of the world to continue protesting, to continue taking action. And remember, we call out also to King Charles. I know, King Charles, we live in a constitutional monarchy. Your moves are limited. I know that you are controlled by capitalism, but King Charles, take the moral step. We know every Charles faced government. Charles I was beheaded. Charles III at least make some statement. Royal family at least make some statement and show that you are not controlled by the capitalist economy. Allah gives freedom to Palestine.
Ameen.
And to all the activists.
Ameen.
Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Takbir! Takbir! Takbir!
Right, we're just sorting out technical. Please give it up for Sheikh Asrar, the respected Sheikh Asrar. Some very important, profound words by the Sheikh, very eloquently put on a very multiple facet, and he must be congratulated for his contribution that he makes towards the cause and many other people like him. We must stay behind our leaders, and we must amplify the voice that is rightly that we need to be raising. Right, our guests, the new Trikarta rabbis who are here all the way from London, and they very kindly arrived yesterday, and today they are observing Shabbat. They are not allowed to use any electronics